Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Najwa. I'm so happy you're here. If you are new here, please do me a favor, hit the like, subscribe button, hit that bell so you know whenever I post a video. I want to ask y'all, who do you think today's like Aretha Franklin is, today's Marvin Gaye is, today's Bob Marley? The reason I'm asking this is because I keep wondering, I'm like a dreamer. I'm just like one of life's dreamers, sitting here, daydreaming, pontificating, ideating, concepting, brainstorming. That's like me. That's why, the creative arts and advertising and marketing and graphic design was such a good choice for me because it allows me to just be able to think and think of ideas. But I really just think about this. I'm such a music lover, and I'm such a film lover. I think that really comes from my dad. My dad was sort of a hippie back in the 70s, and he and actually another uncle of mine, they listened to all types of music. It wasn't just the Temptations and the Aretha Franklins and the Marvin Gayes, but it also was Alabama and Bread and The Who and Led Zeppelin. So it was also B.B. King and random records of Langston Hughes, not Langston Hughes, but Sidney Poitier saying poetry. It just like that right there so totally exemplifies my parents. And my taste is like some of that thrown in from time to time. I won't say I listen to music like that all the time, although sometimes I will just bust out in some Nina Simone. Sometimes you just gotta put it loud in the speakers and bust it out. But usually for me, it's much more of like the early 2000s pop rock of like Franz Ferdinand randomly, or like Yellow Card, sometimes a little bit of Linkin Park, but more these days is probably like hip hop like Drake, a little bit of R&B like SZA, some pop like Maroon 5, indie music like what do you call them? Devandra Banhart, stuff like that. Rogue Wave. It's all over the place for me. Like I like all types of music, anytime types of stuff. Sometimes it's just random, Ghanaian music. Maybe it's random sort of Jamaican stuff. Maybe it's Peter Tosh and Bob Marley. But I definitely feel like the Etta Jameses, the Marvin Gaye's, the Aretha Franklins, the Temptations, the Four Tops, those beautiful artists and musicians of Black America, Black music, just, I'm trying to figure who they are today. Like, they're, and part of that really is aligned with activism, right? And I think the sort of other artists from other backgrounds that you could point to in that would be the Beatles. I think the Beatles is a perfect example. It's those artists who were making music that was really catchy and that you could dance to and jig to and sing to, but also made you think about the world, made you think about your fellow brothers and sisters, made you think about what you could contribute to society, made you think about social justice. Who are those mainstream artists today? And I think that most of that comes back to, and I'm going to make this video very short because I just want to hear who you guys think they are, because I really want to know. Like, I am at a loss for what it is. I think that there are some out there. I think that Common can definitely be considered one of them. Better the Benediction. Who does that song? You see, Common, PJ Morton. But after that, I really don't know. Who is the Marvin Gaye of this time? Who is the Bob Marley of this time? You can argue that the Marley families are really upholding Bob Marley's values more than anyone else. But even right now, they aren't super duper mainstream. They definitely are considered much more like indie or underground hip hop. I just feel like, I guess ultimately what I'm getting to is, I feel like right now, mainstream music has entered into a space that is very formulaic, very much marketing, not ultra creative. It's sort of just repeating the same thing. And my challenge would be to people, you can really, really make a difference and still make a whole lot of money, still have a huge legacy, and be an upholder of social justice. I mean, look at Patti LaBelle. Look at what Aretha Franklin left behind. Aretha Franklin playing music at Barack Obama's inauguration. I feel like, and I love listening to Beyonce. I remember growing up and looking at, Destiny's Child on Disney Channel, like way back in the early 2000s, and just tracking her whole career. I mean, just to say that she came from the African American community to me is just a great pride. But I do have to say, sometimes I wonder, is the only way that we can have these front runners like Beyonce is for them to take their clothes off, or if it's the men in R&B and hip hop, is it for them to really show off this lifestyle of just kind of doing drugs and buying shit all the time? You know what I mean? It's like, where on earth are our Aretha Franklins, Etta James, Patti LaBelle's, Tina Turners, Marvin Gaye's, the Temptations? It's like, I don't see them being these harbingers of social justice the way that we saw them in the 60s and the 70s, or creativity. And you know what's really funny? I was watching something about Marvin Gaye, and do you know that his most famous song, Sexual Healing, literally, like, he had to beg the record company, I think it was Motown Music at that point, for forever to put that song out. There's also this element of when musicians really, really do want to do that stuff that they know people are going to resonate with, they know it's going to be creative, they know people are going to like it, but clients, business corporations are like really scared. They just want to do what they think is going to make money, and that's where we run into issues. It's that idea of craft and art versus what's gonna make money. And when they finally did put Sexual Healing out, of course, we know now it's still famous and is one of his most famous songs. So I think an element of like confidence and having enough belief in your craft, in your art, to just be like, to keep pushing it, even though it might take years to put it out. I think of Shania Twain's Now album. Like, for any of you guys who like country music, which, I mean, I grew up in the South and I like country music. I love Shania Twain. Man, I feel like a woman. It's like, but that type of stuff, she sang that Man, I Feel Like a Woman type of stuff, Any Man of Mine type of stuff for so long. And we got this idea that that's all that she was. We got this idea that this was Shania Twain, but that was Shania Twain, but it was also the record companies and the same sort of brand that they wanted to push out for her. And finally, she made this Now album, and she wrote it all herself. And when I heard that, because I love that album, and when I listened to it, I feel like in a way it's almost better than her stuff. Now, I feel like a woman, stuff like that is iconic. You can't change it. But in a way, Now is really talking about some stuff, really talking about these nuances and elements of life. And that's the stuff that, I mean, it just takes you aback. Why aren't we doing this stuff? Even in my field of expertise in advertising, sometimes the clients that I work with who have lots of money to spend, I mean, I'm going to go ahead and put that out there. It's not like, if someone wanted to take a really creative direction and, it doesn't take the turn that they expected, they really can just go right back to the drawing board. But instead, they spend lots of money on really lukewarm stuff that's not going to take you anywhere, instead of taking the chance on the stuff that actually really speaks to people, that's actually really creative. I think of that banking commercial from the 1970s that featured the song We've Only Just Begun. And that song literally became famous because of that commercial. That's the type of where artistry and craft meets marketing or whatever, where it really actually thrives. Tina Turner and Cher on that stage, the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, that's where artistry and marketing really thrive. They can thrive, but right now we've entered into a space where it's just like, it's only marketing. What kind of substance is that? So I don't know. I want to know. I want to know, you guys. I won't just sit here and pontificate and hold you forever, but what do you think? Who do you think is today's Marvin Gaye's, Bob Marley's, the Temptations, Aretha Franklin, the Chers? Even though she's still here, we definitely don't want to discount her in that way. The Tina Turners, the Patti LaBelle's, again, still here, don't want to discount them. The Aretha Franklins, the Beatles, the Who's. Who are holding those titles in your opinion? I'm really, really curious to know. Please put it down in the comments. We can even get a little battle of the bands going here to know who they really are. And I also want to make a video about this concerning films and movies as well. I feel like films and movies have also gotten very formulaic and weird and not very creative anymore. So I definitely want to know like what those iconic movies and films and television shows of our earlier days, what those are today too. So I'll make another video about that. But in the meantime, tell me who you think that these sort of activists, creative artists, you know, who are also mainstream, who their, you know, counterparts are today, the ones from the past that we mentioned before. Let us know in the comments. And if you're new here, go ahead, hit the like, subscribe button, hit that bell so you know whenever I post video, and I'll see you guys next time. Much love. Bye.